Good day, I'm Dennis Castillo, Senior Application Engineer at Wordtext Systems Incorporated or WSI. And today I'm gonna present to you MakerBot, a factory on your desk. To start off my presentation, let me give you an overview of the MakerBot company. Okay, so MakerBot Industries is a New York City-based company founded in January 2009. But in June 2013, it was acquired by Stratasys, a leading manufacturer of 3D printer, and this deal provided that MakerBot would operate as a distinct brand and subsidiary of Stratasys serving the consumer and desktop market segments. So MakerBot is a 3D printing company which manufactures 3D printer, and those 3D printers are all manufactured in Brooklyn, New York. MakerBot industry products were designed to be built by anyone with basic technical skills. MakerBot uses the technology called FDM or Fused Deposition Modeling, and it uses polylactic acid or PLA as its material. So, what is actually 3D printing? If you are a CAD designer or a CAD user and you create 3D models using your CAD software, it, the way for you to touch your model that you have created as a 3D is to print it using a 3D printer. So 3D printing is a process used to make a three-dimensional object. And what is fused deposition modeling? Fused deposition modeling or FDM is an additive manufacturing technology commonly used for modeling, prototyping, and production applications. It is one of the techniques used for 3D printing. FDM works on an additive principle by laying down material in layers. Thermoplastic is heated and deposited by an extruder layer by layer, and so a model is created. So, to give you a glimpse of the MakerBot product lineup, so first, we have the Replicator Mini. So this is a 3D printer, which is a small 3D printer wherein you could use it in your house or even in the office. You could carry it whether you want to go home and continue 3D printing or take it to your office to make 3D models. So it's a very compact and small 3D printer. The MakerBot Replicator, the Replicator 5th Gen, and the Replicator Plus is a mid-range 3D printer of MakerBot, enabling you to create models with sizes of up to around 10 inches. So it is actually a desktop 3D printer just like the Replicator Mini, but it is a bit bigger as compared to the Replicator Mini. So, next is the MakerBot Replicator Z18. So if you're required to 3D print 3D models or 3D object which is quite big, you the Replicator Z18 is the product for you. It will enable you to print up to around 17 to 20 inches of model, so it's quite big and it's quite good for especially for those models that requires very big volume. And lastly, the MakerBot method. This is the latest product of MakerBot to be used for those who are into industrial applications. So the MakerBot method uses dual extruder, and it is quite big as compared to the three other printers that I have presented to you a while ago. So on the following slide, I'll be able to discuss on what are the build volumes of the different 3D printers that I have shown you. So this is the sizes that every 3D printer could could print. and the build platform that they uses and the minimum layer height that they are capable of doing. So for the Replicator Mini, the build volume or the size of the 3D model that can be printed to it is around 10 by 10 by 12.5 centimeter and or 3.9 by 3.9 by 4.9 inches. So those sizes are length, width, and height. And the minimum layer height for this is 200 micron, and the build platform that it uses is acrylic. For the Replicator Mini or for the MakerBot Replicator, the build volume for it is around 9.9 by 7.8 by 5.9 inches. And the minimum layer height for the MakerBot Replicator is 100 micron, and the build platform that it uses is glass. For the Replicator Z18, which is the one of the biggest 3D printer of MakerBot, it it will enable you to print of a size of around 11.8 by 12.0 by 18.0 inches of 3D model. And it has a minimum layer height of 100 micron, and PCABS is the build platform of it. For the MakerBot method, the newest product of MakerBot, it is the same build volume as that of Replicator Z18, which is 11.8 by 12 by 18 inches, but the minimum layer height that MakerBot can print is around 200 micron, and its build platform is more durable as compared to the three other printer because the build platform uses a flexible steel build plate. So these are the comparison of the MakerBot 3D printers, its sizes and its layer height. So it will depend on what is the your requirement for the build volume or the requirement for the size of the 3D object or 3D model that you wish to print. So you could choose whether if you want a small model, you could choose either Replicator Mini or a MakerBot Replicator. Or if you're gonna print a very big model, you could choose either it's a Replicator Z18 or a MakerBot method. So to show you the interface of the MakerBot printers, this is the interface for the MakerBot Replicator. This applies for the Replicator Mini, the MakerBot Replicator, the MakerBot Z18, Replicator Z18. So the interface, it consists of a 3.5-inch full-color LCD display and intuitive data or intuitive dial, which create a rich user experience. So this interface uh, will enable you to quickly print a model to the a 3D model to your printer, and it is quite easy to use it. So everyone could easily know how to really use this kind of an interface. Also, the MakerBot Replicator has an onboard camera, so you could print your the model you are printing. So you could monitor it on site or you could monitor it remotely. So later on, I will discuss how you could monitor the model you are printing remotely. So it has a built-in camera uh, for easy easy sharing and print monitoring. So the 3D printing platform of the MakerBot Replicator, the Mini, the MakerBot Replicator, and the Z18. Okay, uh, the this printer uses the what we call the MakerBot Replicator Smart Extruder. So the Smart Extruder, this is the what we call the printhead, which uh, which releases the plastic to be used for printing and to create the 3D model that you wanted to be printed. So this smart extruder is easy to swap or replace. It detects filament absence and automatically pauses your print whenever there is problem on the printer or on the material that was inserted to it, and it sends notifications to MakerBot desktop and the MakerBot mobile apps if the printing has finished or if you encountered any problem with the printing. So this is the smart extruder. It's a it's a easy to use extruder or printhead because it automatically snaps in place into the printer, and you don't have to anymore configure anything if you're gonna replace it. So if you're gonna replace it, just detach it from the printer, then snap on the new smart extruder, then that's it. You could use it and you could continue with your printing using the MakerBot 3D printers. Now, for the MakerBot method, it uses a different 3D printing platform because the MakerBot replicator uses dual performance extruder. For the replicator, it uses only one smart extruder, meaning it only has one printhead to be used for printing. For the MakerBot method, it uses two performance extruder or dual performance extruder. Okay, so one extruder is for the model material and the other extruder is for the support material. So this kind of a method of printing is typically used by industrial 3D printers like Stratasys and other 3D printers, which uses a model and a support material. Normally, this process is being used so that if your model has any negative angles or any hanging angles to be supported, so the support material is the one who provides that kind of a solution. So that's why the MakerBot method uh, could 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 do a printing for a 3D model quite good because it uses the technology of using a model and a support material. So just like the smart extruder, this dual performance extruder has smart sensors for material management and print protection. It has greater torque with a 19:1 dual drive gear ratio, so meaning it is more powerful than the smart extruder, and it has a lengthened thermal core with less than 60-second heat up time. So meaning when you're gonna start the printing, uh, because when you print a 3D model, normally the smart extruders, it will take some time to heat up before the PLA or the model material start to uh, be, be be diffused from the head of the printer. So as compared to the smart extruder, the heating time for the filament or the PLA in the extruder of the MakerBot method is quite fast as compared to the smart extruder of the replicator. So your printing will take much lesser time to finish because the heat up time is will take only less than 60 seconds. Okay, so This is the filament which MakerBot uses. Uh, this filament is available in 1 kilogram uh, or 3 kilograms, and it comes in different colors. So you could choose and what type of color you want to use as your material for printing your 3D model. This is the filament for the MakerBot Replicator 3D printer series. For the MakerBot method, it has a different material uh, as compared to Replicator. For the Replicator series, it only uses one type of material, which is PLA with different colors. As compared to the method, it uses three to five different types of material. So the MakerBot method, it has also an available printer called the Method X. For Method X, it uses uh, much much you have a selection of material much more mas malawak. Okay, for method you could use for both printer, for method and Method X, both of them could use a PLA, PETG, and a tough PLA material. But for Method X, there is an additional type of material that you could use, which is ABS or and ASA. And for the support material, Method only uses PBA material, PBA support material, and for Method X, aside from PBA, it also uses SR30, which is a support material which is commonly used by Stratasys 3D printers. So, uh, there is a much wider selection of material that you could use if you could use Method X, especially if you require ABS and ASA material. So to give you an overview on what is PLA or polylactic acid, PLA is a bioplastic derived from corn. It is the best and most consistent filament for MakerBot Replicator 3D printers. So PLA is a uh, bio biocompatible material which is normally uh, made from corn. So the PLA filament normally is being used by the Replicator Mini, the MakerBot Replicator 5th generation model, and the MakerBot Replicator Plus, and the MakerBot Replicator Z18. Now, uh, when you do a 3D printing of your model, you don't normally you created a 3D model from a CAD software, then you just send it to the 3D printer. It is that process is not the actually the correct one. Okay. Minsan we're used to when we do printing in paper, we just connect the printer to our PC or our laptop, then do the printing, then send it to the printer. That's normally the process. But for 3D printing, there is a normally a separate software to be used by the 3D printers to process the model to be printed. So for MakerBot, the software that they use for 3D printing the 3D model that was created in a CAD software, it is called the MakerBot Desktop. So MakerBot Desktop is a complete free 3D printing solution for discovering, managing, and sharing your 3D prints. So this is the solution or the application that MakerBot uses to to send all 3D model to be printed in all their 3D printers. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, and a while ago I discussed about how you could what you call this, you could monitor your 3D printing remotely. So this is the way. So it is called the MakerBot Mobile. So for since the 3D printers has an onboard camera, it is normally when the 3D printer is connected online, the 3D camera uh, normally feeds its video to be sent online. So what you're gonna do is just download the the MakerBot for mobile application, and when the printing is started, you could monitor it even though you're at home and the 3D printer is in the office. You could monitor if the printing was finished already, or how many more hours is left before the model is finished from 3D printed. Okay, so the MakerBot Mobile gives you the power to monitor and control your fifth generation MakerBot replicator 3D printer and access all these things MakerBot from your mobile device. Okay, so right now, since we're given that we're in the crisis, so normally we needed some uh, some applications that can be helpful for those frontliners to be used. So MakerBot recently partner with different companies to provide some gadgets or some things to be used for the frontliners. And one of them is a 3D printed shield. So as you would notice, this shield has been printed using a 3D printer. So that the top portion of the shield is 3D printed, and the acetate or the mask that was attached to it is just connected to it. So it is quite useful, especially for the frontliners. There is also uh, an application or a model that that recently make waves on the news, which is the 3D printed bulbs for respirator. So this also can be done using a MakerBot 3D printer. Then lastly is the 3D printable mask. So this mask is quite good for protection for anyone else, because uh, it uses P3 particle filters, and it is very easy to print with no support material needed. So it is quite useful, especially those who needed a mask immediately, and they have a 3D printer at home. They could easily print out this mask, and they could actually use it immediately. Okay, so again, that ends my presentation. And again, I'm Dennis Castillo. I'm the Senior Applications Engineer at Wordtext Systems Incorporated, or WSI. And this is my email address, my mobile number, and my track line number. So you could call me anytime that you need help for your 3D printer, or if you need any clarifications regarding 3D printer, or any presentation regarding 3D printer, just let me know and I'll be glad to assist you. Okay, so that ends my presentation, and I would like to thank everyone will be able to see this video, and I hope I have given you a glimpse of what are the 3D printers that MakerBot has been offering and could be helpful to you. Again, thank you everyone and good day.